Welcome, welcome. Have a seat. Have a seat.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I am an active player. I have T5.
Tell me, what do you think of Aevatrex?
The YouTuber? He's okay, I guess.
Is that right? Do you think that he's a snowflake? A little toxic, maybe?
Well, if you come at him, he has a tendency of coming right back at you, so he's not really one to take it lying down, I guess.
Is that right?
Yeah, so do you guys have like a minimum for Guild Fest? I noticed that you guys are still in Expert Gauntlet.
So would you say that Aevatrex can't take a little bit of better? Yeah, thank you so much for coming in. We will get back to you soon and let you know, okay?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Bye. That's a spy. Ah, yes, the theme of the day is spies, because apparently a spy is to blame for everything. But you know, funny enough, if that was the case, right? Let's just say that we did have a spy. Do you think that we will just be all willy-nilly putting that information out there and making fun of it? Like, if we were really trying to keep a spy on the wraps, would we really put a kingdom message like, hey, enemy rally party in an hour? Or do you think that we did that to make fun of that situation? Did it ever cross their minds that maybe it's not so much that we are putting spies in their guild, and instead that it's an internal issue that they have, that somebody is sending out this information? You know, see, you put it best. There's a difference between spies and just receiving mails and screenshots from people because they simply don't like you or find things comical. So again, if we had spies, wouldn't you think that we would try our best to keep it on the wraps instead of posting it everywhere and making fun of it? Like, I mean, that's just me trying to use some, I don't know, common sense. But you know what they say, common sense isn't very common anymore. But I think you might have fixed the issue, because I heard that TWK started kicking some members just because maybe they were the spy. They don't know. But anyway, back to this. We're out here rallying X13, Muad, Dib. I hope I did not butcher that name. But essentially what we're doing is we test the front line, and then what we do is we generally send one, maybe two rallies at a time and make sure that the rallies are not being countered. And that's one way, if you're going to be doing a rally party, especially if you're going to be going after an offline target, that's one way of not having all the rallies countered. Just go one at a time, especially if you have bunnies, and make sure that each rally is actually getting a good hit. And the moment that it doesn't, then more than likely it means that they came online and switched, especially if you have not touched T4 yet, because even though the kills might be the same, you can always take a look at the might loss. And if the might loss jumps up but the kills are about the same, that means that you are touching T4. And that's how you know, like, okay, now that the front line is gone or nearly done, then we can set to go ahead and go for the burn. But yeah, this is just one of the strategies that we generally go for, especially for bigger targets or targets that are in gear, because they don't seem to go after targets that are in gear. Don't know why, but as long as they're offline, we go for it. I know that the first couple of hits are not going to be great, but once we know that the front line is kind of gone, or for the most part gone, this is where we send most of the rallies like this. And then, of course, once the front line is gone, that happens. There goes the burn. And that's what happens when you go offline. Like, listen, you can have 50 million troops, 100 million troops. You can be in gear, you can be in talents. But if you're offline, and if we set rallies on you, 8, 10 rallies, that front line is not going to hold up more than 10 or 15 minutes tops. So the name of the game is not being caught offline. And if you get caught offline, well, it is what it is. There's so many times where people park in the Wonder with no prisoner or nothing. They just park there, and then we rally them and they port away in shields. I'm just wondering, what exactly were they going for? Like, what was the point of just sitting there anyway? I don't know. But generally speaking, those are the ones that we can get, because those are the ones that usually slip up. So yeah, Muad'Dib, so sorry for you, my man. But that gear, which by the way, very, very nice gear, but you were offline just a tad too long. And you just can't do that in a kingdom like this, that enemies can set 10 or 15 rallies at any time. You can't do it, or this is what happens. Now we go on to taking a look at these hits. All the hits were pretty decent. Now these were pretty much just cleanup duty. That's why you don't really see any like big hits. They were just, we took no damage, but it was just cleaning up what was left. But still, all in all, a very good 0. Very interesting target. You know, they had good gear. They were in a phalanx though, which definitely makes it easier for us to clear the front line. Because compared to like a range wedge, a range phalanx is much easier to clear. So that's why if you ever go offline in either inf wedge or range wedge, because it's probably going to be your best bet. But now we move on to Hush Pup TWS. I'm gonna call it a trap because this person had more troop might than actual might. Now this is me actually starting it up a little bit later. They had already taken a few hits, and as you can tell, they were already down to 1.2 billion. And you're gonna see where they actually end up. And remember, I came in here a little late, so I'm not really sure what might they really started on. It might have been like over 1.3, maybe even 1.4. It was in that range. And so as you can tell, we're hitting it with cav rallies, and I'm guessing that it was like an inf wedge. So for me, I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to be able to hit the front line, because by the time I walk, that front line is more than likely going to be gone. So seeing that it wasn't in front, I set range just to make sure if the inf was cleared that I can actually go ahead and clear it. Now, Anli actually set a range rally before me and gets to walk and gets the burn. So they actually had the same thought process, but they had set a little bit earlier than me. But either way, a burn is a burn. And now we're just trying to go in for the cleanup, if you will, because we got the burn already. Now, take a look at the might, because again, when I started recording, they were just above 1.2 billion, but they had already taken some hits. So they must have already lost like at least 100 to 150 million might or so. So they started at about 1.3 billion. And take a look at this. So I get carpeted in. They give me the clown like a mad-ass. Look at this, 824 million might. And I'm thinking, oh my god, this guy had so much might. And it was not over. It was not over. Take a look at this. I hit 6.4 million. It was an infantry wedge, so in that way probably helped them out a little bit, but clearly not that much. And remember, they still have 18 million troops, even still down to 800 million. And take a look at that. QQA got one of the big hits here at the end, lowering it down to 667. So look at that. We've already cleared over 600 million might in troops, and he's at 600 might now. So that's actually quite insane. So that's why I say that this is probably a trap that didn't trap, because yeah, when you have 800, let's just say roughly 800 million troop might, you're really supposed to be there to trap. But I guess this trap kind of fell asleep and didn't really do its job. But take a look at all these hits. Like, all these hits are thick. Look at EMF with the 13.7. Huge hit. Oh my god, that was a beautiful hit. We got KW2 coming in for the mop-up duty, and look at that, 618. Yikes. And now of course they're gonna start soloing. I see that they're still dropping, so I'm like, okay, they can't really have anything else. So I go ahead and try to speed in a range hit, but by the time I even started walking, like this person was already cleaned out. And take a look at the ending might. 0 I was able to hit. No. And their ending might, watch this, 554, where they began at least 1.3 billion, maybe even 1.4 billion. So that's about 800 to 900 million troops gone. But don't worry, plenty more to come, so appreciate you guys for coming through, and until later, bye.